Hey guys, welcome back to another GTA Online video. My name is Saintsfan, and of course today is the DLC release day, and with that came the new updates with the patch notes. And today we're going to go over all the major things that Rockstar actually changed in this update. Now the update itself, as kind of we all know if you've been playing it, isn't the biggest. The content that was released today, at least, not really the longest. You can pretty much complete most of it within an hour. Now there is a lot of drip fed content, and I made a video on that earlier today. Definitely go check that out. There's some really cool stuff in the drip feed, but yeah, it's drip feed, so it's not out today. We have to wait like another month or 2 or 3 for all of that to release. But let's go ahead and hop to the patch notes. We'll see what Rockstar specifically said, and there's a couple of things that Rockstar didn't mention on here that we'll talk about. But this is the 1.64 patch notes. It's for all the consoles. Of course, there was a couple of new things added. The Freak Shop, that's the new social space. You can do a bunch of stuff in there. That's sort of where the missions are all at. And there's also the Acid Lab, which is in the back of the Brigade 6x6. Although one of the things Rockstar mentioned in the newswire was a non-mobile Acid Lab. That obviously didn't come in today's update, so I wonder if that's going to be in part 2 potentially. There's also a bunch of new cosmetics, in case you were wondering if you haven't checked them out. There's hundreds of pieces of male and female clothing, a new female hairstyle, and then 39 new tattoos. Now, as far as stuff that they actually changed, the big one, the one that we've been wondering when it was coming, we've been asking for this literally since what, 2014? Contacts can now be hidden from the phone. So this is probably one of the most requested changes. It's not like the biggest or anything, but it definitely is going to help out. You actually don't find this setting in your phone. You would think it'd be in your phone because it's the phone contacts, but you actually have to go to the interaction menu and then you go into the phone contacts. I think it's in the inventory section, and then you can actually just check off all of the contacts you do not want to show up in your phone. It's really beneficial. You can even turn off the players. So honestly, you can narrow this down to like 5 or 6 contacts, even less if you really wanted. And whenever you need to use those contacts, you know, whether it's Lester, Moore's Mutual, whoever, they're right there. You don't have to scroll through like 3-4 pages of other contacts that are just useless. So I would highly recommend doing this. Unfortunately, they're not in like alphabetical order when you're in the inventory menu here. So you're going to have to go down, figure out which ones you want, which ones you don't want. But yeah, that's probably the biggest change. Another thing that they changed, I guess this is something that people were complaining about. The casino missions with Agatha Baker, they can actually now be done solo. So no longer do you need more than one person. And I hope they continue this, and I hope they sort of go back through all the other old content. It'd be great. I don't know how they would pull it off. I don't know if it even is possible, but if they could go back and take the old heists and make them soloable, that would be fantastic. Another big one, again, not necessarily big, but it's a quality of life thing. Bicycles can now be requested from the mechanic. So of course, this now just works like a regular vehicle. If the bicycle that you purchased is in any of your garages, you just call the mechanic up and it will be in the list. You can see the BMX is in the list. I can't call it because I'm on my Oppressor Mark II, but still it is there. And it will be delivered to you. So no longer do you have to do some crazy glitches or just pedal your bike to like Mount Chiliad if you want to go up there. You can simply just call it from the mechanic. And then speaking of new vehicles and mechanics and all that, there was a pretty big reduction of time taken from when you purchase it on the website to it delivering in your garage. It's still, you know, fairly long. I think it's like 30, 45-ish seconds, but it is a lot quicker than before. I mean, I swear before it was like you bought it, you have to wait 5 minutes before it actually got delivered. So they did reduce the time taken before the vehicle gets delivered. So that's another quality of life thing. This next one, I didn't even know this was a thing they took out, but apparently they took out the hide all option at one point, and they just reintroduced it on the map blip option. So now in your interaction menu, you can just hide all the options if you don't want them on your map. And then one of the other experience improvements I mentioned here, if you're on the new consoles, you no longer need to complete the intro race to get access to the HSW upgrade services. Now they do mention it here, ray trace reflections, if you're on the new consoles, have actually been added in the fidelity mode. So unfortunately, if you want these ray trace reflections, you're gonna have to play at 30 FPS, sometimes even lower than 30 FPS. But here's a couple of examples. I mean, they look decent. It's not great ray tracing, but considering this is a almost 10-year-old game, it's not bad. And honestly, if you actually want to put chrome paint jobs on your vehicles, well, it might not be bad because you get to see the nice reflections. Also, speaking of these, I believe what you could do if you did just want this for like pictures or videos in the Rockstar editor, you could play the game in the regular performance mode, and then when you go to the Rockstar editor, you can actually switch it to the fidelity mode and the reflections should show up. So pretty cool. Obviously not a major thing, but yeah, it looks nicer on the new consoles. Now, some of the things they did upgrade to the economy, and I don't know why they just don't do this for everything, but I guess whatever, we'll take what they're doing with just these two things. But the Smuggler's Run cell missions, so all the hangar cell missions, have been permanently tripled. So that is pretty good. And then the high demand bonus in public lobbies with a lot of people will be applied to vehicle cargo cell missions. So all those import and export vehicles, if you're still doing those, they will get, I think it's up to 40% bonus money if you're in a full public lobby. Now, I don't know if it's actually mentioned in this particular newswire, but if you actually go into invite-only lobbies, the terabyte will now work properly. You can actually source jobs and stuff in invite-only lobbies through the terabyte. So if you want to just do a bunch of missions with a bunch of businesses, get your terabyte, go into an invite-only lobby and do them in peace. And we're not going to go through all the rest of these patch notes because there's quite a bit of stuff actually on like the HSW creator, which was added to the new consoles, so you can make some HSW races. But there's a lot of notes on that, and honestly, if you really wanted to read them, you can. I personally don't care too much about those particular things. One of the curious things, I guess they took it out. They said fixed an issue that allowed players to modify bicycles inside the Avenger. This is what actually allowed a lot of people to get different colors and different paint jobs on their bikes. I don't know how that was an issue, but I guess they took that out, so you no longer can customize your bikes anymore. A little upsetting. There's a bunch of other fixes, I guess, on various little bugs on a bunch of the random missions in the game. So, of course, that's all good. Again, if you want to go one by one, be my guest. I'll leave a link to this in the description. Now, they have a couple of fixes here that said people were getting stuck in loading screens. Apparently, they fixed those, but I've seen a lot of people this morning actually complain that the new property, the Freak Shop, people were getting stuck in loading screens going into that. So I guess they fixed some stuff for older stuff, but it's back on the newer property. I think we covered this one in a Rockstar Logic at one point, but there was an issue where sometimes your player would get stuck between the casino guests in the casino. They fixed that, so that's good. This one maybe is a little disappointing. I don't know what vehicles specifically this affects, but certain vehicles, if they got damaged, the more damage they got, the faster they became. Well, I guess they fixed that. And then, yeah, I mean, there's not too many other fixes, notable fixes mentioned in these patch notes. But what I've covered so far is kind of it. Now, I'm sure there's some small hidden things which we'll sort of find and figure out over the next couple of days. So I'll make another video in a day or two on some of the hidden things that were changed and some of the hidden things that Rockstar didn't mention that you could do. So be on the lookout for that. But these were some of the major changes that Rockstar made to GTA Online. Do you think it was enough? Do you wish they did more? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching. That's going to do it for today's video. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one.